Welcome. I am Sophronia Scott, Director of the Alma College MFA in Creative Writing, and welcome to another Faculty Friday. This is your opportunity to learn more about the amazing faculty mentors you'll get to work with in your time at our program. And today I am delighted to introduce you to the newest member of our faculty, Shonda Buchanan.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Oh, you're welcome, Shonda. Let me tell everyone a bit more about you. Shonda Buchanan, Pushcart Prize nominee, a USC Los Angeles Institute for the Humanities Fellow, and a Department of Cultural Affairs, City of Los Angeles Master Artist Fellow. Shonda is the author of 5 books, including the award-winning memoir, Black Indian, which was chosen by PBS NewsHour as a top 20 books to read to learn about institutional racism. Shonda is also the newest, well, I just said she's the newest faculty member for us. She is going to be teaching fiction. And also, of course, she's well-versed in nonfiction and poetry, so you can study any of the genres with her. Writing on Tongva Chumash land, Shonda is currently shopping her book of poetry about Nina Simone, and you can learn more about her at shondabuchanan.com. So thank you for being with us today, Shonda.
And again, thank you.
So today we are talking about imagery. So what are your thoughts around that?
I think imagery is probably one of the most important elements of writing fiction and nonfiction as well. But when I think about developing images for a story, particularly with trying to show what a character looks like, trying to show what the character is doing, showing, not telling, right, through the use of image, I think imagery is where your plot actually lives. So the plot is the structure. The plot is how you are from the beginning, the middle to the end, kind of telling the story. But the imagery is the showing of the story. And I think probably every professor or teacher is always trying to impart the importance of imagery on the story, right? That scene of scene setting. Setting the scene, setting the tone through the imagery, through the use of words, creating an element of not just theme, but motif with symbols and color as symbol, sound as symbol, right? So there are so many elements that go into the creation of imagery, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And as a writer, I believe probably one of my favorite authors who does imagery so well is Toni Morrison.
Yes.
And yeah, and she, I mean, in most of her books, it's really fascinating because, she was an editor at Random House, so she was editing a lot of authors' books. When she started writing her own work, The Bluest Eye, which was her first, novel published in 1970, and just the element of texture and the element of how she was using imagery to create the sensibility of a young Black girl who didn't know her worth. But we could say that this is a story about a young Black girl who doesn't know her worth.
Yeah.
But in the showing of that story, it became a narrative that touched so many hearts. And in fact, for me, that was a book that changed the lexicon of what it meant to be a Black woman in America.
I love what you said, that imagery is where plot lives. Can you tell me about in the writing process? Because I think this is also something that can hang writers up when they're drafting. So when you think about imagery, are you thinking about it in that first draft, or is it all in the revision that you layer the imagery on? Or does it work both ways?
I think it works both ways, in fact. Your first sentence can be a spot on image, right? The first paragraph can be a spot on image. And maybe that's the idea that the author is, that first came to them. The way someone is sitting on a couch, or the way someone is walking on a beach, the way, not just the act of it, right? So I think that if someone wants to impart that in the first draft, let's go ahead and put that on the page in a way that you're showing it. But in the revision, that's when you can start to kind of give us those elements of what does it sound like? What
Mm,
does it smell like? What does it taste like? And then what's an internal dialogue next to the imagery that I'm trying to create? So I think it happens in both ways. In that beginning draft, at the beginning development of the idea, and then also probably your subsequent drafts as well.
okay. Well, thank you for that, Shonda. I know I love imagery as well. I love to play with it. To me, it's where the plot lives there, but it's also where the fun can be as well, where we are truly showing our artistry. Well, thank
And
you. No,
and it's where the emotions, it's where your emotions also exist, right? The plot lives there, but then how does the character feel? And how does the character feel about themselves, about the surroundings, about the environment? So I think imagery also is that place that evokes emotion.
absolutely. Well, thank you for being with us here today and sharing that with us. Once again, she's Shonda Buchanan. I'm Sophronia Scott, and we are with the Alma College MFA in Creative Writing. We are now taking up applications for our next residency. We hope to see you on campus with us very soon. Our website is alma.edu/MFA. Thanks.